Hello and welcome to TechLens show, where we review the biggest stories in technology, leadership, business, straight from the pages of the CIO magazine. I'm your host, Cynthia Kemuma, and in today's episode, we will be taking a deep dive into this month's issue. We will review the cover story and many more stories from the CIO magazine issue 43. But first, the letter from the editor. Once again, we are very privileged to have Carol Odero, head of DX content, join us today. Karibu, Carol. How are you feeling today?
Thank you. I'm feeling hot.
From your letter, do we have ghosts in machines?
Well, yes. You know, when you talk about the ghost in the machine, it kind of sounds spooky. But when I was thinking of the ghost in the machine, I'm thinking that a machine it thinks like a person. And the ghost in the machine is the equivalent of a soul in the person. So the machine starts processing information and thinking in a particular way. That means that it's starting to exhibit symptoms of being a person. And you can't be a person without a soul. So there is something inside the machine that is making it become this thing that is giving us all this information. It is just putting forth information and giving us all this intelligence.
Do you think we can reach a time where the machines are thinking like just human beings? They're just functioning and they're even having that aspect of humanity in them?
Depends on who you ask. If you ask Elon Musk and Michael Michier, they will tell you yes.
If I ask Carol Odero?
If you ask me, I'll tell you I am open to it. I don't see that happening anytime in my lifetime. I don't think the machines will get to be that smart. I mean, smart to the point where they actually take over. I feel like that's a sci-fi move. I don't really think it can happen in real life.
Interesting. You during the Year Ahead event, you posed a question to the audience and you asked them, if AI succeeds in a task, who gets credit? And if it fails, who's to blame, the AI or the person behind it? What's your take on this ethical dilemma?
I think that when I use ChatGPT and it gives me ideas, I take the credit. But I also have to get to a point where I have to admit that I did use ChatGPT. So it's like a collaboration. I can't say that one gets more credit more than the other. It also depends on what you use the AI for. If it is automation, then it's like a tool. It just sort of does things that it has been trained to do. So it doesn't really get to take the credit. It just gets to make your life easier.
Yeah. So at no point will you do maybe a project with artificial intelligence and you decide to say that this work was purely generated from AI?
I would actually love to. In fact, I'm trying to figure out ways of using AI, doing editorial content, and how to automate some of the processes we use to do the magazine. I just haven't figured out how to do it, but I am so open to AI suggestions at this point. So whatever it tells me, I'm open to it.
And now with AI transforming our world, do you think we are moving fast enough to ensure it is built responsibly, or we are playing a catch-up with innovation?
I think innovation is moving really fast. What we're playing catch up with is regulation, because when you innovate, we don't know the direction the innovation is going to take. You don't know what's going to come next. You don't know what AI is going to prompt. You don't know how the next person who's thinking about AI is thinking about AI. So I would say that in terms of innovation, we are light years ahead of regulation. So regulation is the one that has to play catch up. You know, how do we make sure it is ethical? How do we make sure it is diverse? Can we get it to reach people? Is it going to bridge the digital divide, or is it going to make it worse? So these are all questions that innovators have to think around when they are playing with AI.
So when it comes to regulation, innovators are the ones to create these regulations?
It depends. We had a session at an event, I attended an event, and they were talking about how regulators are seen as the enemy of innovation. But what you can do is you can embed the regulation in the innovation process, kind of like innovation by design. So when you start creating, you think about the regulation process, you think about the people you're innovating for, the processes that will surround it. It might slow down your thinking, but if you're willing to innovate around regulation, not necessarily through regulation, then you might actually stand a chance. Yeah.
Oh, that's quite interesting. And your closing line, "It's going to be you," feels like a direct challenge to the audience. What effect do you hope this has to the people reading your piece?
Well, I was thinking that when it comes to how you use AI and how AI is working for you, and probably how you imagine that AI is supposed to be, it all comes down to you as the individual. See, there is the collective experience the world is having with AI right now, but there is the individual experience you have with AI on a daily basis, especially if you're a CIO. So how are you going to use that responsibly? How are you going to use it ethically? How are you going to use it not just to generate revenue for the bottom line, but how are you going to use it to make a bigger impact on the world? It's not just about you making money for the business. It's also about how you use AI to impact not just the business, but the society around you.
Yeah, that's quite fascinating. I want to take your attention towards the DXNova piece that you wrote. First, before we get into that piece, would you be kind enough to tell us what you mean by DXNova?
Oh, DXNova means, DX means digital transformation, and Nova means star. So it's like a digital transformation star. So DXNova is actually supposed to talk to women in leadership, persons with disabilities, and Gen Z. So these are the three kind of pillars for DXNova. So if you are anybody who fits that profile and you are a supernova in DX, then we want to talk to you.
So in the Gen Z aspect and then the people in disability, do you also focus on the male or it's only female?
It could be both. In that respect, it could be both, because we have had a blind CIO, and we've also had a content that refers to Gen Z, not necessarily interviewing someone who's a Gen Z, but we have the DXNova interview and you have a DXNova feature. So I've done features around Gen Z.
So in your piece that you featured Dr. Tejumola, if you had to describe the industry's journey over the past decade, what would it be, the transformation of African entertainment? If you had to describe it in the past decade.
Well, it started out with, and this is not by any way, shape, or form telling you how old I am, but it probably started with, one TV channel or two. Then it moved to multiple channels. Then it moved to cable. Then now we have streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and Prime, Amazon Prime. So for the past 10 years, it has definitely changed a lot. And the content is, well, now you pay for it. If you want really good content, it helps to pay for it. But I would say that the past 10 years have been transformative, because now people are using data to reach the audiences. They're using AI to figure out what we want. And you have to make sure that your platform is secure if you're streaming. So there are so many challenges around emerging technologies that are making it interesting and exciting at the same time.
That actually takes me to pose this question to you. What streaming service or mobile-first content and AI-driven entertainment reshaping the industry do you think traditional TV has a fighting chance from the streaming services, the mobile-first connect, the AI-driven?
It doesn't stand a chance with me. I mean, I don't remember the last time I watched traditional TV. If I want to watch anything, I go on YouTube and I follow it from there. I mainly watch Hulu or Netflix or Amazon Prime. And I think a lot of my peers are like that. They look for content that you can access from streaming services. If there is something that is relevant, like news, I'll go on YouTube and watch it there, or I'll follow it on social media. So I would say that traditional media, it works if you're probably, not to be biased, but if you're in the rural areas and you don't have access to a lot of streaming services, then it works for you as a means of communication and insight and knowledge. But if you're a city person like me, then chances are you have a lot to choose from.
So the traditional TV will soon sink.
Not for me. It might sink for a bit, but they will probably have to think of a refresh, because I can see a lot of them also have online versions. So maybe not necessarily disappear, maybe just take up a new form.
Lastly, every industry has its behind-scenes struggle. What's one surprising challenge in African entertainment that most people don't realize?
I think storytelling. You know, people talk about being content creators and being storytellers, but sometimes I feel like they don't think of storytelling as an intellectual concept. It's one thing to know a story, like I know a guy, he went, he stole, he did, it became a meme. That's one way of storytelling. But actually thinking through a story from start to finish for a film or for a TV series, it actually requires a lot of nuance, a lot of context, a lot of understanding, a lot of psychology. People don't think that way. They think you once you just have a storyline, you can lay it out, but that's not how it works. You have to actually consider it. You have to think about it. You have to, as a writer, your first priority is not writing, it is thinking. So if you're doing the storytelling, think about the story.
Thank you so much, Carol, for your amazing responses. Now, finally, what's unique about this issue? Why should I read this issue?
Every issue is unique.
What is unique about it?
Well, several things. One is the whole East Africa, South Africa, and West Africa triad. I think that all of these three different stories resonate with the audience in very different ways. Then I think you can take a look at Michael Michier's article on the AI supremacy race. I think it makes a really good reading because it tells us what the future of AI is going to be like for Africa. We might not have thought about some of these things, but he has, laid it out for us. And finally, Ali Hussein talked about why Central Bank and PesaLink are linking up. I think that's a really good story. It's a controversial story because there are a lot of people who are thinking central bank is imposing regulations and they shouldn't do that. So I think that would probably be, well, a genius story to read. So yeah.
Thank you so much for making time to join us today. We are very privileged to have you.
Thank you. I'm privileged to be here.
Welcome back, Joanne, to TechLens Show. It's great to have you here once again.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
You wrote an article about the transition from CTO to CEO featuring Andrew Murray. And what was the biggest plot twist in his journey that people need to know?
The person who inspired, what the inspiration behind it. You know, a lot of people, especially men, most, I'm not going to generalize, they attribute their success to a lot of things. And if it's a person, they will probably say maybe someone, their mentor, and maybe their mothers. But the person who inspired him is his wife, and he mentioned that boldly, and I find that to be a really nice plot twist. And he was just a CTO, Chief Technology Officer at Konga. It was an e-commerce company, and then things happened. Udala acquired Konga, and this is when his wife came up with this. It was a light bulb moment where she asked him, what about Andrew Murray, the CEO of so-and-so company? And from that, Deimos was born. And Deimos is it's a custom software development and cloud immigration company that it provides cloud solutions, to be brief.
So from your story that you've just shared, what do you think was his boldest move?
Starting. Just beginning.
Is it starting or just listening to his wife? Between the two.
Taking whatever his wife, her finding inspiration in doing what and actualizing what his wife told him. That was really bold. A lot of people just are always stuck in the ideation stage. They never actually do anything. But Andrew Murray took the step and he founded Deimos. And now he is the CEO and founder of Deimos.
So would you say that Deimos is from his story that it's one of mind-blowing innovation that he ever did? Or is there any other mind-blowing innovation that he did?
From what I got, he has had a background in cloud. So I wouldn't say it's mind-blowing, but having something that now belongs to him, his idea, tailoring it to the African market, that's something to, applaud and commend. Yes, but cloud and migration, cloud services, computing, and all that has been there. So I wouldn't say it's mind-blowing, but just taking the ideation stage and actualizing it, that is something to commend. Yes.
Do you have anything from history that changed your perspective in life?
In life, I don't know why my mind is revolving around his wife. Okay, have meaningful people in your life, individuals that are going to create impact, whether it's in advice and supporting. Have people who are beneficial in your life, not just having a circle who are going to put you down, and invest in your circle, in other words. Yes. And the circle here is the wife, and maybe friends.
So
who
he
help.
invested in his wife.
Very well, yes.
So let's shift our gears and let's take a look at the cover story. First of all, congratulations for having your article in the cover page. And
Thank you.
And you wrote on the rise of digital payments in East Africa, featuring Chad Pollock, who's the Vice President
and General Manager of Visa East Africa.
Yes. And if cash could speak, what do you think it will say about this shift to digital payments?
I'd say it will say, it's about time. Give me a break. And go to the digital world, explore it. It's worth it. If cash, it will vouch for digital payments. That's what I would say.
Wow. Personally, if I was asked that question, if cash were to speak what it would say about the shift to digital payments, I think it would be so fierce about it. It wouldn't want us to shift to digital payments. But as you've said, it would give us a chance to shift to digital payments.
Assuming if cash was a person, you're like, I'm tired of getting robbed. I'm tired of being folded and mishandled. Please, just keep me safe.
Okay, I love the way you've actually looked at it. And from that, what's one fact about digital payments that could make even the most diehard cash user rethink their wallet?
It's all about, I'm thinking about convenience, security, safety, and risk, revolving around that. That is what okay, speaking from my perspective, I feel carrying cash is quite cumbersome, it's tiresome, and things are actually much easier with the digital payments. It's just transaction, just give me your number, you just put in your card, you swipe out, and your transaction is done. No queues there, you're just done. So that is something that I feel that they will benefit on. That is convenience, and also risk, because looking at scenarios where I've had people tell me when they're hired in a certain company, and then their story there, before they left, they are like, I was stealing money. So I feel from that story, I feel like that organization that was being robbed by their employees, it would have been safer if they went digital. They kept their money in their systems and all that, in banks, digital platforms. It would have been safer that way. So I feel they will benefit in terms of security and theft in regards to that story, employee theft.
Between storing your money on the digital the digital platforms and storing your money as hard cash, which one is more safer?
Digital.
What about someone accessing your credentials?
There's always going to be that risk. Even in cash, even in cash. So it's always going to be a conversation of someone hacking you, taking your. That's why these systems are in place. The AIs, tokenizations, these organizations like Visa are constantly trying to evolve and try to tailor these solutions to cater for all that in regards to security and risk and cybersecurity and all that. So yeah, and actually, a recent thing happened. I lost my phone, and this moment hit me. I know I'm vouching for digital platforms and all, and digital payments and how I use my phone to transact and all that, but it actually made me understand the importance of cash. Always have cash. But you see, the thing with me, even if I have cash, I never use it. It stays there. I will always use my phone. I'm so comfortable with the seamless payment. It's so swift, it's so fast, it's so convenient, Yeah.
So
and
how
you
did
don't
you
have
get
to.
home?
I had cash. I had the little cash that I never use. But I was thinking of, wow. Okay, I would say that that's one of the challenges with digital payments. When you're so inclined or you're so used to using your phone, you forget about the cash world, and you're caught in situations where you really need cash. So it's advisable to always have cash. That's just for a side of my experience. But I also vouch for digital payments. Yes.
If Chad Pollock had one magic bullet that could instantly fix the digital finance, what would it be?
Bullet, so violent. Why not a baton? So I would say all small merchants and industry and individuals in the rural areas having access to the digital payments. We're always having, okay, for me, when I was doing this article, this story, this interview, I asked him, is Visa looking at a cashless society? And he said, that's quite impossible. Even if they're saying they're preaching digital payments, transitioning from cash to digital payments, it is there's some environment or people that you cannot convince them at all. So we cannot say that the society one day will be cashless entirely. But from your question, I'd say, okay, from the conversation that I had previously with Chad, he would like to have all small merchants, the SMEs, to embrace digital payments. I think we as Africans, we have trust issues. I don't know I don't know what traumatized us.
Is it only Africans?
I don't know, but if we look at the West side, a lot of people a lot of them, and like a whole lot of them, then the community has embraced digital payments. Everything is credit card, debit cards. I'm actually, from the interview, I learned a lot. There's a lot of things that we have not embraced, and even the trends that are coming in, I'm like, oh, wait, this existed? Because the only thing we know is just mobile payments, M-Pesa, transaction from Airtel Money to M-Pesa account and all that, So it will, if Chad Pollock, I'd say if Chad Pollock were to have a button and press, it's for the small businesses to embrace that, and also to have less transaction cost because of the taxes. The taxes, there's high transaction and high fees whenever you're transacting with customers to the business. So yes, and that's really hard. Why I'm saying that is because it's really hard. Some businesses fear adopting digital payments because there's the security. I'm going to mention security a lot. Security, like, I feel like the systems might fail, there's security risk, someone might hack me. And also, a lot of customers really want to deal with cash for some reason. I don't know why. Yes, and there's that. And yeah, and also accountability, like, yeah, this money is in, it's easy, you're handling cash there, it's just fast, And also, if you do not understand, some businesses, small businesses do not understand digital payments that much. So if you don't understand something, how are you going to trust it? But I know I trust my capability and my ability to to count my money. I'm like, I have 50 Gs here and it's kept in this safe. We're good to go and we're good to start the day. So I would say that will be what the magic, that's the
magic
yeah,
bullet.
that's where the magic will work.
If you had a chance to have another interview with Chad Pollock, what question would you ask him that you haven't put down in the article?
Interesting. I actually interacted with people who read the article and they asked me, we would want to know about Chad Pollock. We just know he's the VP, the Vice President and General Manager at Visa. Who is he? Where is he from? So I will definitely want to have him back again and interviewing him and let him tell people who he is, where he is from, and how did he find himself in this platform, finance sector, you know? Yes.
Thank you so much, Joanne, for creating time to be here. It has been such a wonderful conversation. And maybe tell us where we can get to read the articles from.
Of course, thank you for having me. And you can find this copy to the article at www.cioafrica.co. I wouldn't want to give you spoilers. And yes, you can go visit our website and grab yourself a copy and get to know of the trends that are in digital payments. Yes.
Hello, this is Kevin Namunwa with the CIO Africa Magazine, and today I'm here to interest you about the amazing editions that we have each month for the CIO Magazine, and this is hence the magazine archive. Today, let's look at some of the previous issues. Yes, this was an interesting one. This is an issue from April 2024, last year, and it featured Thelma, who was the first CISO of the year in 2022. And this issue is actually the cybersecurity issue, because we were looking at cybersecurity in 2024. We were looking at what CISOs can predict in terms of cybersecurity. And in this issue, we talked to Thelma, who is the group CISO for Equity Group. We also talked to Harrison Naji, who is a group CISO from Nigeria. And then we also asked a lot of CISOs a question on whether the CISO and the CIO role, which one will be more important in the future. So talking about Thelma talked about her journey in the cybersecurity industry. She talked about growing up in South Africa and moving later to Kenya, where she's currently working, and also her aspirations for the future of cybersecurity, as well as where she positions herself and Equity Group in that. Dr. Harrison Naji actually talked about the future of cybersecurity and why we need to train a lot of cyber warriors today, because cybersecurity is growing and cybersecurity is becoming a more important issue as we approach towards the future, especially today with the threat landscape having increased. That means that the risk is now higher. And as a company, you need to know and you need to be aware of the risk, and you need to be aware of whichever technologies that you are bringing in. They expose you to cyber risk, and they expose your company as well as your digital assets. And this is why cybersecurity is important today. And that's why you need to have a look at this copy, look at what the CISOs are saying, look at what they're predicting, and how you as a company can maybe plug into some of the techniques and make sure that you're safe while you continue creating innovative solutions digitally. Thank you. So to get a copy of this magazine, you can scan this QR code right here at the back, or you can go to cioafrica.co/magazine, and then you'll get this issue as well as many other editions which are equally as interesting.
The future of technology is being shaped by those who dare to break barriers, challenge norms, and embrace diversity. From ethical AI to digital payments, remember the possibilities are endless. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Stay innovative, stay curious, and remember, it is going to be you. Please remember to click on the subscription button, to like, share, and to comment. Until next time, bye.
Yeah. Welcome to the gamification. This is that part where I ask what you know. My question today is simple. What does DEI stand for? It was written by Carol Odero. 12 steps how you start your program. Leave your answers in the comments below. Whoa.